in the wrong studio.
This is how it is today on Pop Culture Minefield. This is how it is today. This is how it is today on Pop Culture Minefield.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning to all.
Fuck you.
Holy. Whoa.
Good morning. Good morning. It's Monday.
Is that a proposal?
Had a nuclear war here today with cats. It was interesting. Never seen so much fluff flying. None of them have clean claws. They're just going at them full barbed eagle claws. And as quickly as it began, it ended.
Right.
And all you see is like snow. There's fluff in the air. And
So they worked it out, you say? They
The
worked it
funniest
out.
part is when you see Bags, who keeps to himself, man. He's freaked out by so much. But he comes in like a wheelbarrow if it involves Ivy, his mom. And he'll just like runs and turns sideways and just knocks everybody down and away.
Boom. Boom.
So it was interesting. Oh. So yeah, Monday.
It's a Monday. It's a typical Monday. At Gary's house.
It's another manic Monday.
Yeah, I had to lose the Fu Manchu mustache and everything. I did that yesterday. Dude, it was driving me crazy.
I actually trimmed my beard down to just the Van Dyke.
It looks good, man. It looks good. Yeah. I like it.
All I have to say about that is
Skibbity spin. Stop. Hammer time.
there you go.
I loved the hammer back then, dude. I did.
Yeah, and by the way, we do have a message from our sponsor.
And now a word from our sponsor, Gerry's Wholesale Sausage Emporium.
You know what's
That's right.
sad?
First caller gets 11 feet of Gerry's sausage.
See, I can't hear those. I can't hear them on the iPad. You can. It says tap to listen, and if I tap it, I'll end up having to leave the show to come back. For some damn reason, I can't get back to the show if I do that. So I can't hear any of the videos you play.
Oh, odd.
Yeah, it's weird. It's an Apple thing. I don't know. Something to do with the browser on Apple. It's just weird.
Now on like Apple PCs, you have what is that browser?
Safari is the main browser.
Safari.
Yeah.
You have that on there?
Yeah, that's the browser on every Apple product. That's the default browser. Yeah.
Yeah,
and matter of fact, StreamYard's the only one it'll work with is the Safari one on Apple. They don't want you using any other. I use like 4 different browsers on my iProducts, but I can't use StreamYards on anything but Safari.
Wow.
Yeah. Like if I try to just sign in from the link he gives me on X, I'll tap it and it'll start to boot up, with mic settings and all that stuff. And then it's got this instruction thing for how to set it up in Safari, and it's got a copy link thing that pops up.
And that's just one of the reasons I don't like Apple.
Don't use Apple products. I know. My wife's addicted to them. We've been on them for years. So
I worked on them for years, for computer graphics and video and shit. But man, within a year, your computer's already like 2 generations behind,
Yeah.
and you can't upgrade them
No.
without spending a fortune.
Yeah. But from what I understand, my brother uses a Mac because he was told by the guy that's giving him guitar lessons online that it's one of the best things for music producing. They've got some of the best tools there is for making music. So that's why he bought it. Yeah.
And there you go.
Yep.
I always thought that was good marketing.
Yeah.
You always thought what was good marketing?
That argument that Apple has the best software for graphic, the best software for music. I don't believe that.
Yeah. Hey man,
But you still believe in Santa?
Well, I have to see you look like Santa, so now that I think
I have been Santa a couple of times, got in the costume and everything.
and now that I think of it, I have never seen both of you at the same place at the same time.
I'm
Right.
telling you, man. Gerry, he's Santa Claus. He's got a band of elves.
Ho ho ho! And I've got machine guns.
He's actually called me an elf before, so fits.
See, the plot
Actually,
thickens.
when I say it to her, she misunderstands. I'm saying she's 11.
Jesus.
Only if you understand German would you understand that joke.
God. Let's begin with the show.
How you say 11?
Doesn't make it better or funnier.
Smash that like button. Share the stream. That's what I'm doing right now.
People are grumpy today.
Last time I tried to share my stream, I got arrested.
You gotta ask beforehand, bro.
Nobody said I had to, and you learn. You learn. That's what happens.
Oh my god.
Wow, dude, this is a huge file.
Which
So
one?
what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this file rather than try to upload it. So let's see if I can get this video. Go to compressed. And we will watch this interview with Michael Caine.
Oh,
Michael
cool.
Caine.
Michael Caine. Oh, cool. One of my favorite guys.
Oh, it's not going to let me do that one. Okay, fine. Fuck you. So I will try another one. It says it didn't like that one.
What
Guys, can you check if we're up on next?
Yeah, sure. I'm in there right now. Hang on. Would it be on Pop Culture Mindfield's X account? Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Penny, we are much live. This is not a recording. We are here.
Yeah, we are here, Penny. I had a terrible bout with reflux last night.
It does not look like we. No, wait. We are. Yeah, for some reason it's not on top. You might want to pin it to the top so that people see it.
So this is a quick interview with Michael Caine on the set of the movie where The Eagle Has Landed. I almost said Where Eagles Dare. I'm having trouble with my throat this morning because I had a really bad case of reflux last night.
Oh man!
And it burned into my down close to the larynx.
Yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about, Gary. This one, I wouldn't wish that on my worst.
I haven't had that in years.
Yeah,
I think the last time I had an episode was in 2007. I made a mistake and had forgot to eat my dinner, so I ate a later dinner. And
you shouldn't do that, especially if it was something spicy like Italian or
and
something.
then it wasn't spicy. It's just it gets the nuclear reactor going. Yeah. And when I finally went to bed, I was like, oh man, I better make sure I take my regurg pill. And I didn't. I forgot.
Damn.
So that's why I'm coughing today. So here's this interview with Michael Caine, and there you go, guys. there's very little out there for the making of this movie.
Well,
Michael, how's shooting on the film going then so far?
Oh, it's going extremely
It sounded like
well,
you said
although we've
shitting
got a
on
lot
the
of great
film.
clouds here. That's what we needed. We started off in one of the ports with a very sunny day, and we had to reshoot because it looked a bit like Saint-Tropez, you know.
Now, what actually happened yesterday? We had reports of you being in the water and all sorts of things in this incident at Charlestown. What happened?
Oh, nothing really happened. A boat, a big ship, which was in this little dock, just bumped our little motor torpedo boat, which of course is made of wood. So I think the damage was done more to everybody's more scared than anything, because if you're on a very low boat and you look up, see this 600 tons of
right.
ship coming towards you, it's quite scary. As a matter of fact, I was the first one off the boat.
This part you're playing, Michael, of Steiner, Colonel Steiner, is it a different sort of part for you?
Well, yes, in a way. I've only played a German once before, which is in a picture called The Last Valley. But this is that was a very kind of Sturges kind of German. This is a more, it's kind of a more humane look at people. I mean, I know it looks a bit difficult to make them look human, but it's more Germans among themselves doing things, and less of the sort of Achtung, Schnell kind of Gestapo thing.
It's quite different from the Caine image we all know and love from Alfie and all this sort of...
Oh, yes, absolutely. This guy, I suppose, is the equivalent of kind of commandos or SAS in England. You know, they're paratroopers, which were very much elite troops. And as he's the colonel of them and got all these decorations here, I imagine he's done quite a lot.
Did you, the parts in Alfie and Get Carter, is this the Michael Caine, is it Michael Caine that we see there, strong?
No, well, I don't know. I don't really know myself. I'm a kind of, I'm a father and a company director, so to speak, rather than a sort of freewheeling spirit like Alfie. And so all these characters, you put a little bit of yourself in, but the majority of it is made up. Majority of it. I'm certainly not near to Alfie, and I really don't think I'm very near to Carter. I'm not a violent man at all, and I like to imagine that I'm not quite as stupid as Alfie.
Which of the films that you've done did you enjoy the most?
Alfie, Ipcris Files, Zulu, Sleuth, and A Man Who Would Be King. I think are my favourites. And Get Carter was a hard film to do, a very hard, very difficult film to do. But of all the pictures that I think I enjoyed The Man Who Would Be King most because of Sean Connery and John Huston. They were marvellous guys to get along with.
Many people see the job of an actor as a very easy, simple job.
Is that David Frost?
Would you go along with that?
I should imagine that anybody who sees a job of an actor as being simple must be rather simple themselves.
We've just seen you, for instance, now standing out in a cold airstrip waiting for the sun and the wind and jets to start flying. How long have you been trying to get this particular shot?
We stood out there for about an hour and a half, but we have really basically got it. We were just trying to get absolute perfection, but we're obviously not going to get it because this guy's going round and round and round because he's practicing landing, which just means he goes round and round in circles.
So Defense of the Realm comes first, I suppose.
Well, I should imagine so. I think they're slightly more important than we are.
When do you think this film will actually be hitting our screens, Michael?
I would imagine Christmas. It'll be quite quick.
Is it going to be a good one?
I would hope so. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stood out there in the freezing cold for an hour and a half.
Michael Caine, thank you very much, and welcome to the West Country. Nice to see you here.
Thank you.
Is that David Frost he's talking to?
I don't think so because the accent's not Australian. David Frost is Aussie. That guy's Irish. You can tell by the way he said water.
He's doing a really good imitation of the guy then, the looks and everything, because that profile sure looked like him.
If it was, it surprised me because, like I said, his accent was given away when he said water.
Yeah.
Water.
Right.
Which is the Irish way of saying water. So there we go. It's a pretty good interview. Doesn't really tell you much about the film. But it did mention one thing, because a lot of people don't know that Michael Caine and Sean Connery lived together in London when they were just coming up back in the 50s. And I can't remember if it was Connery. One of them was the party guy, and the other one was the more homebody. And I think Michael Caine was the more homebody.
I was fixing to say, yeah,
Connery
it's
was
gotta
the
be
guy that went
Connery.
out drinking, and so it was a strange life. But they became best friends at that point.
Yeah,
and so to finally get to make a movie together was really exciting for the two of them to finally do something, and to get to work with John Huston, who is the son of the great actor Walter Huston. And Walter was in his movie High Sierra.
Yeah,
got an Oscar.
The one he mentioned that I really like is Sleuth, man. I love Alan Arkin.
Sleuth is a really, I did not like the remake.
Yeah, but
and I don't know what it is. Jude Law got to play Michael Caine parts twice. He did the redo or remake of Alfie, which I did not like, and then he played the part that Michael Caine played in the remake of Sleuth, and Michael Caine played the part that Olivier played.
Really?
And it just wasn't very good. The originals are great, though.
Dude, you have
I believe
very
in
active,
Beyond.
You have a very active cocaine.
Well, Michael Caine's one of those guys that never saw a part he didn't like. I mean, he did everything, man. Anybody that was in the Jaws the Revenge just loves making movies. Doesn't care what they're about, you know?
So why are people asking if this is a recording?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Penny was asking that too. I don't know. It's weird.
That is weird.
It really is. I'm just kidding. This was recorded last week, and we're making up reacting to the questions a week before they were actually written. It's funny.
are psychic. We are good like that. Yeah.
That's how smart we are. We
No, it
are,
might have
as
been
my
because
dad
we
would
didn't
say,
anything. So.
we are real fart smellers. I mean, smart fellers.
That might have been because we weren't talking during the interview, man. You know.
Well, I did make that one joke.
Yeah.
Sadly. I swear to God, it did sound like he said that. Shitting on this film. Like the way he said shooting sounded like shitting. Anyway. And if that's David Frost, I'm surprised, because the way he said water is absolutely like he's from Dublin.
Yeah, look, I saw the profile, and I'm not that.
Yeah, you see the cheek and the nose, and the haircut.
Yeah, it looks like him. He's doing a good imitation, whoever that guy was.
So, sorry.
Bless you.
Don't die. Don't die.
Fine.
No, that was last
He's
night.
not allowed.
Because it feels like you're dying when it happens.
Yeah, it does.
Because you aspirate acid, the hydrochloric acid of your stomach. It's fun.
And what
and
happened
some of it
is
went
it
too
backs
far,
up-
and it burned right here, and I can just feel it right now.
backs up into
Very
into your airway, and that's what makes it burn really bad. And
Andy Morrow's feeling sick or something.
I don't know what that's all about.
Good morning, Emmanuel. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Penny. Good morning, Meth. And of course, Christian Jalarm.
Christian!
Bonjour. He was first in the house today. Look at that. Someone didn't drink last night.
He had a show last night.
I forgot, what was he doing last night?
I think it was what Midwestern Rock, something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like, it was one of them where I don't really, if I don't know much about it, I don't want to pop on there. But boy, he did that Blue Oyster Cult one, man. I was right in there. Because I owe that all to Jim Woodward. He's the one who turned me on to Blue Oyster Cult. Man. And I also, because I had heard Genesis, the early Genesis albums, first ones, back with my brother Steven when I was a kid. And he listened to a lot of prog rock. And, but I didn't see the Genesis albums again until Jim Woodward and I were hanging out when we were about 14. And I borrowed his album Nursery Crimes, Genesis Nursery Crimes, and I never gave it back. we always steal from each other. It's so funny. Like God, like Mike Beatty stole my Mike Warnke album, which is a comedy album, Vietnam vet, talking about life in Vietnam. It's funny as hell. And he heard it and he's like, "Man, can I borrow that?" I went, yeah. That means, can I have that? That's what that means. Can I have that? It's the same thing with Mac. I don't think I ever took anything from Mac, but boy, he took shit from me. Like, especially my hats, because I have a lot of hats. And
Well,
I
I'll
got
take
that.
shit from you, man.
Oh no, I haven't. I'm in another country. I don't have the possibility.
It has a different meaning. He's using the second.
That was a joke.
We all take a little shit off somebody. I got the joke.
Wasn't the Blue Oyster the name of that bar in Police Academy?
Yes, the gay bar.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But Blue Oyster Cult was around way before that movie, no doubt.
And I do believe the name Blue Oyster meant BLEW, and oyster is another term for jizz.
Oh,
so they're using.
Yeah, so that's information we needed.
Yeah.
You just have to understand what the joke really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, Andy Morrow pointed that out too. So, but BOC was amazing rock band until the 80s. And then all of a sudden, like every song sounded like just the most generic rock song.
Yeah.
The same thing with AC/DC for me, because like the greatest rock album ever made, hard rock album ever made, is Back in Black.
Yeah.
That is just a perfect album. And everybody goes, "Well, you love AC/DC. What do you think of Flying Wall?" It's a repeat of Back in Black. I got the original. It's better.
They've got great songs with Bon Scott, but end-to-end album greatness. Yeah, Back in Black is the best complete effort they ever did. Yeah,
I had
not one weak song.
No,
What's that?
I stopped it here because maybe you know what's the reason of this, but this is the only part of the opening titles that is in German.
Yeah.
The rest of it is in English.
I did notice that.
The title of the movie is in German. What the hell?
Yeah, why? Just for me. Oh, I'm honored.
But then is really also starring.
Why is that? Because it doesn't say also starring in German.
No.
You know. Donald Pleasance, of course, being a World War II veteran. Not only a veteran, but also a veteran POW survivor.
This has got a great cast, man. I was blown away.
Oh, yeah.
Larry
Hagman playing a shit heel again.
We'll talk about it later, but that was great. His whole character. And
this Keith accent, man, he was...
That
that wasn't Major Nelson.
No, it wasn't.
Dun, 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 dun.
Where's Barbara Eden? That's what I wanted to know. Woo! What's up? But yeah, I loved his character in this movie. And such a serious movie to have that character in it, it was great. And yeah, we'll get into it when we get there, because I don't want to spoil it before we get there, because it's great. It really is. Whoever wrote this, man, putting a character in there like that was awesome. You know what I mean?
Yep. And by the way, Mephisto, it led to a confrontation between some of the cast and the director, because the director dismissed Donald Pleasance's opinion on things. And so basically, Charles Bronson took him aside later. Went to his trailer, the director's trailer, and nobody has said what he did, but all I know is after that point, he was very nice to Donald Pleasance and listened to him and made him one of the on-set advisors for what POW life was like.
You know what he did? He sat him in the corner and stared at him for 15 minutes.
Yes, with his With
with his
squinty eyes.
squinty eyes, his little tiny voice, going, you know, you're gonna make me want to kill you. Don't make me want to kill you.
Right?
He had such a little voice, but god damn it, he carried weight.
It won't end well for you. Yeah.
And so Mephisto, absolutely, you're right. You know, and that's why he came into service on that film. And I agree with you 100%. My favorite Blofeld in all the James
Donald
Bond
Pleasance
films
was great as
Donald
Blofeld.
Pleasance.
I had never seen this movie before, Gary, and
Yeah.
I already loved the guy, and I didn't think it was possible to gain a new level of respect for him, but Robert Duvall's awesome in this fucking movie.
His
He really is.
accent is really good in this.
Fantastic.
Almost as good as the actual German actors in the
Mhm.
film. It surprised me, but he's really, God, man, when he did the 7% Solution, his accent while playing Dr. Watson was spot on. Because I didn't know who Robert Duvall was when I saw that movie. I thought he was English.
Yeah.
And
he's something
later
else.
I learned he was an American actor, and I went back and looked at all of his films. And it's because of 7% Solution, I became a fan of Robert Duvall.
First movie
And-
I ever saw him in was True Grit. You know, Phil, what was it he said to him? That's bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
As Ned Pepper. And you know, they almost got into a fist fight, him and John Wayne,
Wow.
because he was getting sick of his fucking method acting.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, Robert Duvall's
it got
awesome.
physical. There was pushing. And I'm assuming that John Lennon. Yeah, John Lennon would have fucking fell down. Anyway, John Wayne, I think, shoved him because he got
Really?
up in his face and he shoved him back. So it's an interesting story, the making of that movie, because Wayne did not expect it to be very good. He said it was awful. It was a rough shoot, and ended up
Won an Academy Award for it. Yeah.
won an Oscar for it. Yeah.
I tell you though, my favorite movie that Duvall was ever in was The Apostle. I love that fucking movie, dude. It was
Now,
so
even though this is clearly not really the character, because we know the fate of that character. He has the same fate. This character has the same fate as the real character he's loosely based on, which is, if you've ever seen the movie Valkyrie, the character that Tom Cruise plays, he's doing a version of him.
Yes, when I saw his wounds, I was wondering if it was the same character.
He's not the same guy, because
but
he still gets shot at the end of the movie. But the reason why Von, what is his name? Von, oh, good Lord. Give me a second.
Yeah, I'll look it up real quick. I need to go ahead and get that on so I can look things up.
Von
for you.
Stauffenberg. Von Stauffenberg. He's kind of a version of von Stauffenberg. And in reality, von Stauffenberg took part in the attempted coup of Germany and the military. And they were really close to being successful. People, if you watch that movie, you will see really how close they got to being successful.
Man, but the
And this is based on an actual incident. This scene, it really happened.
Really?
Pretty much the way they show it.
Wow. Wow. You're talking about the trying to save the Jewish girl, right?
It was more than that. They went out there and they confronted them over their treatment of the Jews. And remind you, these are not Yazis. These guys are hardcore Germans. And they have no hatred of the Jews. In fact, clearly they care about them. Because he that's why he gets imprisoned. He gets put in prison for it. But in reality, what happened was the Waffen SS backed down to them because they realized they were talking to hardcore combat soldiers.
That would bust their ass if they even lifted a
Germany's tier 1 operators. That's what these guys were. And the Yahtzees backed down to him, and it didn't end the way this one ends. They also, to my knowledge, the shooting is just for the movie where they shoot her. Their fates were sealed either way, but they were like, treat them with kindness.
Mm-hmm.
The guy there on the left is actually German. So many of the Germans in this are English.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it so goofy that when they talk amongst themselves, they talk in English with German accent. They shouldn't have done that.
I know but it is what it is.
They're making
This
the movie
film
for
had
an
a lot
English
of
audience, so yeah, that's bound to happen.
Just speak English then.
This film wasn't treated well by the critics. It really does have problems, and I will tell you right now that part of the problem was the director, Sturges. He was there for a paycheck. Once he collected his paycheck, he left.
I was fixing to say, the editing in this movie is horrible. Some of the transitions are just
that's the problem.
Together. Yeah,
that's the problem. Yeah. He left the minute he got paid, and he never came back. And when they started working on edits, he was not there. He was off on his fishing trip.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Refused to come back. And Michael Caine was so excited to work with Sturges, this American director who's known for so many great films. Mm-hmm. And when all was said and done, he was very bitter about what he did and just said, I will never work with him again.
Mm-hmm.
He abandoned this project and left the editing up to the producers and the editor. And they did the best they could. But it is where the film falls apart, is in its edit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always felt like if they'd had a better editor, I think things would have gone well, because your film editor should be as adept at storytelling as a director, if not better, because their job is the element of visual storytelling. You look at Star Wars. Star Wars was saved in the edit.
Yeah, I've heard that several times, that his wife saved that movie in the edit. Yeah.
Now, I am confused, by the way, with this part here, because if you don't recognize him, anybody who's ever seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade recognizes that actor there with the beard.
Yes.
And
recognize him right away. Yes.
He is known for playing German characters. In fact, he's made almost an entire career of it. And yet he's quite British.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And I don't know about his German accent. Anima and I have not watched his best film, The Last Crusade. Mm-hmm. And because he's got a lot of scenes in that one, and he's definitely delivering some great German. When what's her name? The Irish chick, Alison Doody, kisses him goodbye. She goes, "That's how we say goodbye in Austria." And then he walks up, looks at him, and he says, "And this is how we say goodbye in Germany," and punches him in the face. Hits him so hard that it knocks his head against Indy. Oh, it's a funny movie. Mm-hmm. I love that movie.
It's the second best Indiana Jones movie there is, no doubt.
Yeah.
Some people would
Raiders,
argue it's the best
number one. Crusade's the second best, and the third best is Temple of
Doom. And that, just stop there. Those are the only three Indiana Jones movies. We will not speak of the other two heretic films.
Yeah, even Mephisto's, he loved that line too. This is how we say goodbye in Germany. It's a great fucking line.
Mm-hmm.
And he does it in a funny way, because he's not being dramatic. He goes, and this is how we say goodbye in Germany. And he, with a real pleasant voice, then fucking nails him right in the face.
Yep.
But I'll get into the production of this. So let's get into this. So development of this film began all the way back in 1974, which is not long after the book was written. And Paramount announced that they had purchased the film rights to Higgins, The Eagle Has Landed, in partnership with Jack Viner, as well as I just forgot his name. One of the other producers on the film, David Niven Jr.
I was fixing to say, I recognize the name of that second producer.
Yeah, David Niven Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And the book came out in 75, but they bought the rights to the book because they were shown a sample of it and they loved it.
I thought it might have been just by the title that it might have been a McLean book, but it wasn't, right? Somebody else wrote this book.
Yeah, and another thing that was amazing is that Higgins, who wrote the book, said that he was amazed at how quickly the rights were bought because they saw absolutely the potential for a great World War II film.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, it went into production in 74, and it was in pre-production. It stayed in pre-production for quite a while. Now, casting, Michael Caine was originally offered the part of Devlin, but did not want to play a member of the IRA, so asked if he could have the role of Steiner. And interestingly, Richard Harris was then given the role of playing Devlin.
Wow.
But Devlin is a member of the IRA, and they got an actor who supported the IRA.
Yeah.
And Richard Harris got into some hot water because he was caught in attendance of an IRA fundraising event in the United States, and it embroiled him in a huge scandal, threats against his life from film producers, and he was removed from the production, and Donald Sutherland, an American, is brought in to do one of the worst Irish accents I've ever heard. I would put his accent right up there with Dick Van Dyke as an East Ender from London. So in March of 76, the New York Times announced that David Bowie was going to play a German in the film if scheduling would be worked out. Jean Marsh was originally offered to Deborah Kerr, another great actress.
Mm-hmm.
And but it ended up going to Jean Marsh, and because Kerr couldn't commit to it because of other contracts. So filming took place in 76, and it shot for 16 weeks. Tom Mankiewicz, who's an amazing writer, he's got that Mankiewicz bloodline, man. What a great bloodline of writers. I'm telling you, man. Great. It's in their fucking blood. And he thought the script was the best that he had ever written, but felt John Sturges, for some reason, had given up on his script and did a very poor job. And editor Ann V. Coates was the one who did her best to save the movie and make it watchable. And she, of course, was the editor. Michael Caine had initially been excited at the prospect of working with Sturges. And during shooting, Sturges told Caine that he only worked to earn enough money to go on a fishing trip. Caine wrote later in his autobiography, quote, "The moment the picture finished, he took the money and left." Jack Viner later told me that Sturges never came back for even editing, nor for any of the other good post-production sessions that are where directors are supposed to be doing their most important work. The picture wasn't bad, but I still get angry when I think of what I could have been or what it could have been if in the hands of the right director. We had committed the old European sin of being impressed by someone just because he came from Hollywood. End quote.
Wow. That's harsh.
So a lot of the film was shot in Cornwall to represent the Channel Islands, and Berkshire for East Anglia. The majority of the film, set in the fictional village of Studley Constable, was filmed actually in Maple Durham. On A4074 in Oxfordshire, features the village church as Maple Durham Watermill and Maple Durham House, used for the manor house where Winston Churchill is taken. A fake water wheel was added to it because if you look at it today, it's not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So the water wheel, because it was never there. That was added to the movie set. So mock buildings such as shops and pubs were also constructed on the site in Maple Durham, while interiors were filmed at Twickenham Studios. The Lansford airfield scenes were filmed at RAF St. Mawgan? I don't know that name, Mawgan, Mawgan. It's English. 5 miles or 8 kilometers from Newquay. The sequence set in Alderney was filmed in Charlestown near St. Austell in Cornwall. Some of the filming took place in Rock in Cornwall. The railway station sequence where Steiner and his men make their first appearance was filmed in Finland. And because they had one of those old train stations there. The parachuting scenes were carried out by members of the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers. So they used the actual British military for those jumps. It was their display team. And that was done on Wednesday, April 28, 1976. The exit shots were filmed from a DC-3 and that bugs me because it wasn't called a DC-3. DC-3 is the commercial name.
Mhm.
The DC, it was at that point still called the C-47, even though the model was referred to as a DC-3. Nobody in the military would have called it a DC-3. They would have called it a C-47.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a mistake in the film.
Mm-hmm.
The Dunkswell Airfield in Devon. The landings onto the beach were filmed at Holcombe Beach in Norfolk. Now, this is some of the tough stuff here. The film was successful, with Lou Grade saying, quote, "It made quite a lot of money," end quote. ITC made 2 more, and ITC, if you see ITC, you're talking Lou Grade. Lou Grade owned ITC, okay?
Mm-hmm.
ITC, you'll see that like on the Muppets, any of the Gerry Anderson shows, they were all produced by ITC.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, ITC made 2 more films with the same production team, Escape to Athena, another one that I like, and a film I've never heard of. It's a British film with Ryan O'Neal called Green Ice. I think I probably knew about this film when it came out, and I just wrote it off. So I never watched it. I'm not a big fan of Ryan O'Neal. The Eagle has landed, spent a week as the #1 film in the United Kingdom. That was April 9th, 1977, and was the 15th most successful film of 1977.
Ryan O'Neal is the Richard Gere of his day. He can't act.
Yeah, just I think
He's a
Richard Gere can
face.
act sometimes. I don't think Ryan O'Neal can. Ryan O'Neal had one thing going for him: nice voice, and he was good looking. He was nice on the eyes.
And who he was married to, right? Yeah.
In his review for the New York Times, Vincent Canby called the film a good old-fashioned adventure movie that is stuffed with robust incidents and characters that you can relax and enjoy without worrying whether it actually happened or even whether it's plausible. Canby singled out the writing and directing for praise, saying, Tom Minkiewicz's screenplay, based on a novel by Jack Higgins, is straightforward and efficient, and even intentionally funny from time to time. And it is. There are some really funny moments in the film. Mr. Sturges obtains first-rate performances, building the tension until the film's climactic sequence, which, as you might suspect, concludes with a plot twist. With so many failed suspense melodramas turning up these days, it's refreshing to see one made by people who know what they're doing. So there you go. When another ITC production, March or Die, which is a film we will be doing on Military Monday. I love that movie. Gene Hackman is so good in that. Faltered in the U.S. theaters during initial engagements in the fall of '77, Columbia Pictures repackaged it into a double feature combo with Eagle. The Eagle has landed to help with the remaining play dates. So if you see this movie, you get to watch the other film.
Right.
If you buy a ticket for this, you get to see the other one.
They did
which
that
is
a lot
very
back then,
smart.
man. They did.
Yeah. That's how I saw Mad Max.
Yeah.
It was on a double feature. Same thing with the opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark, because they're scared.
Yeah.
Paramount was scared. And they tacked it on to the end of a little film with Lee Marvin and Charles Bronson called, I think it was called Manhunt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really good film. And if you bought a ticket to that, you get to stay and watch a midnight showing of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And so it wasn't a school night. So my dad bought the tickets and we went to watch it. Very small audience. There were only
Hard
like
to
22,
believe they didn't know what they had in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
22 people in that theater. And with 22 people, when he shot that Arab, everybody stood up and cheered.
Yeah, you know it, man. Yeah, when we saw that the first time, everybody
I'd never seen that happen
clapped
before,
and
where
applauded.
people
It was
just stood
awesome.
up in the middle of a movie, and I jumped up with them like, "Fuck it, yeah, ooh,
Yeah, way to
ooh."
go! Stupid idiot brought a sword to a gunfight. That's awesome.
So at this point, you'll notice that Michael Caine's character Steiner doesn't have his rank on there. That's because technically he's in prison right now. Him and his men.
Right.
They don't have any of their ranks on. They're still doing shit for Germany.
And they're doing a dangerous job for Germany. He's losing his people doing this. Yeah.
Now, I will say that I do like this scene. And it's the scene I most remember as a kid, because when we watched it the other night, Anima and I hadn't seen this movie since it came out. I've never watched this on video before. I'd only seen it in the theater. And this scene stuck out my thumb when he stuck out in my mind because of the thumb line. He says,
Yeah.
"Would you like to suck on my thumb?"
Yeah.
And then he gets thrown out the window, and I'm like, that's fucking great. And his accent is just awful.
The British and the Irish didn't like each other back then. No, they didn't.
He should have gone for more of a Dublin accent. It would have worked better. It's an easier one to do. Well, that's where you go around 3:30, you know. Look at those blue eyes. He's the German actor.
Aryan nation.
And Anima
right
goes,
there.
"I've seen him before." And I went, "Yes, you did. He's in Patton. He's just one of the German officers."
Yeah, Gary, imagine what this movie would be like. And maybe a fan needs to do an edit of this movie where just fix the transitions. Don't cut anything out of it. Just smooth out the transitions in it.
Also, the timing. The beats are off.
Mhm.
You know, and your film should be like a song. It should flow. By the way, I do love this moment here where they see him thrown out the window, and you see Duvall's character just start laughing. This is why I see you're ingratiating yourself on the local inhabitants. Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Hi, Glenn. How you doing, buddy? I'm assuming you're about done on the maps. And you know what? The only reason why it's a crap film is because of the director. That's why. Because we talked about it already, that he had abandoned the film to go on his fishing trip. Once he got paid, he was gone. And shame on him for doing that.
Yeah. I tell you what was really mishandled, and it's coming up. It's Donald Sutherland's relationship with Jenny Gutter's character. And it just seems like it's shoved in there. Like it's not natural. You know what I mean? It's very strange.
Well, but there's something really sweet about her. And it is in the book.
I love it. It's just
her character
the way it's
is in the book, and she really did fall in love with him. And there is a sequel book by Higgins. And the way the movie ends, there could be no sequel. Because in the movie, they kill one of the characters that's not supposed to die.
Right.
Because in the book, he didn't die. And he and the other character try to take on an operation, and that one is called The Eagle Has Flown. I do like this scene. He's never jumped before.
Yeah.
And he asked the pilot, he goes, "So how do I jump out?" He says, "You will unbuckle, and then I will turn the plane upside down and you will fall out." And he gets turned upside down and you drop out. There it is right there. Yep. And he goes, "Could just be for forgery." He's like, yeah.
Which it was.
Yeah.
I love this.
That comes up.
And they're using real planes too, and I like that.
Yeah, that was cool. But like, okay, this establishing shot goes on way too long. I thought that when I was watching this, I was like, okay, I get it. We're panning over it. But
well,
God,
they want to show off the real village as well as the additions they made, because some of those buildings aren't real buildings. They were manufactured for the film itself. The church and that little water wheel building mill are real for sure, and a couple of the houses are real, but there weren't enough buildings. Those cows weren't real either.
Went on too long. I was like,
they were flown in props from another film. I think it was called Twister.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm lying. That never happened.
Yeah, especially
Larry
if it's Swiss,
Hagman
so it
plays
made
a
like
character.
20 years after.
Larry
Larry
plays a
like 20 years after.
That's right. Look, when we get to it, I'm going to talk all about that, man.
Larry Hagman plays the same character he played in Superman.
Yes, he's the same guy. He's a commander that's self-important.
It's like basically this.
Yeah.
This is the father, and the guy in Superman is his son.
Is the son, right? Grown up. That's it. Exactly. Well, but this comes off as a very serious movie. I mean, you know, and to have
It's a brutal film.
Yeah,
the combat's brutal.
And to have a character like that in it is just wow. I was laughing. I really was. It was. So
By the way, that is one of the largest dogs in the world that he is playing with there. That's the Irish Elk Count. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
They're gorgeous. But man, like their average life is 7 fucking years.
Yeah.
Because they suffer from an enlarged heart as they get older.
Wow.
Because of their size. And that's the thing. The smaller dogs, the big dogs have the shorter lives, where, you know, mid-sized dogs, beagles and golden retrievers, labs, stuff like that, they have longer lives. Hagman he was in I Dream of Jeannie. Yeah. Bewitched was Dick York and Dick Sargent. Yeah. 2 Dicks played Darren.
2 Dicks for Sabrina.
Won't be here that long, Mrs. Gray. Yeah, I saw it. I was reading what you said, Bill. I like his little motorcycle there. I don't know what that is. It might be an early Triumph. I don't know. It looks like a dirt bike. It's so small.
What I thought was crazy is how the license plate was on it. It's on the front guard for the front wheel.
Yeah.
License plate. Yeah, that was pretty wild. I've never seen that.
That was common.
I'm telling you, I'm not a big bike fan, so I'd never seen that before. It was.
Guinea Gutter was many a young man's fantasy back in the early 80s.
2 words: Logan's Run. That's all.
Logan's Run. Which, by the way, I made the thumbnail for that, Martin. We need to do it. Logan's Run. Guinea Gutter was so freaking hot. That was where I first saw her. I saw her in this one, and then, of course, in American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
And I was one of your typical young boys, like, oh man,
oh boy. Oof.
She's in her 70s now and still working, and she aged graciously.
Everybody was in love with Farrah Fawcett back then, but when Logan's Run came out, I was like, oh no, I like Jenny better.
Guinea Gutter.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fun scene where the guy wants to fight him over the girl because he saw him flirting.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Here's another thing in the edit. His voice is definitely dubbed. You can tell. It doesn't match up very well. The big guy's voice. The big guy.
The big guy's voice? I don't know.
Yeah, watch it again. You can tell his voice is dubbed. It's bad. Yeah.
No, that's a C-47. And the problem with it, and that was an actual Fokker.
Meet the Fokkers?
Meet the Fokkers. The DC-3 they show, it was only referred to as the DC-3 by the manufacturer at that time, McDonnell Douglas. And it was referred to as its military classification, which was C-47. But once they started doing commercial flights with it, then they started calling it the DC-3. I love this interior of this church.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Now, I don't know if all the scenes were shot within the actual church. I've assumed that this was at the studios. And by the way, I wanted to talk about the director, John Sturges. Sturges was a very good director. He directed the Bad Day at Black Rock, one of my favorite non-Western Western films. Lee Marvin's in it. Gunfight at the OK Corral, another great film. Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, The Magnificent Seven, The Great Escape, which is, you've already saw he had a shitty attitude in The Great Escape because of his approach to Donald Pleasance, where he dismissed him. And that pissed James Garner off, who confronted him on the set. And then later that evening, Charles Bronson went to his trailer and had to talk to him and gave him a permanent attitude adjustment with Donald Pleasance. Ice Station Zebra, another favorite of mine.
Oh man,
he made some great fucking movie.
That's an Alistair MacLean book.
Yeah, Alistair MacLean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he got to adapt to some of the best thriller writers of his time.
Mm-hmm. I recognize that guy in the pilot seat too. Where have I seen him before, man? That's
can you
been
take us back, Martin?
Woof.
Woof? Did you just say woof?
I just remember when I was watching the film, I've got to look up and see who that guy is.
Well, he'll be an English actor. I don't know him. Mm-hmm. I don't know him, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'll see what I can find out in the background.
Yeah, Ice Station Zebra is a brilliant film. I fucking love that. Patrick McGoohan is so good in it, and that's why they ended up making an episode of the Prisoner without him in it. It was because he was off shooting Ice Station Zebra. And this scene is so funny to me where he meets her out there. It's like, it says, warning, this beach is mine. And he just walks right out there over the fucking concertina wire.
Well, so does she.
Well, she's over there too. And it's just like, what the fuck?
He's even running. He isn't even carefully walking, looking for signs or something. He runs. Love makes you stupid.
And I got to say, I don't know if there are actually mines out there. They may have been there to scare people. And this is
she would know that.
This is kind of a pervo scene, but it's cute at the same time because she's like very young and he's like 40 at this point.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I thought this was kind of weird.
I'm 19. I don't.
Almost 19. Yeah.
She was clearly trying to draw him into her trap, though. That's for sure.
Well, they fall in love with each other, so it's almost forgivable.
Yep.
And I don't think he ever does anything with her.
Mm-mm.
I don't think he ever have a chance to.
Not in the movie.
He actually just falls in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she hits a point where she accepts who he is, though she doesn't agree with it.
And she's the reason why he stays in the end, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and she ends up murdering the guy that fought him for her.
Yeah.
She shoots him in the back because he's going to turn him in as a spy.
What we would call today a stalker. He's in the house going through shit,
Oh, he is a There's something wrong with that guy. He treats her like his property.
Right. Yeah.
Wasn't that his house? I mean, the Devlin's house?
Well, it's what he rented. Yeah. Because the guy broke into Devlin's house that he was renting from Mrs. Gray. Just walking across that fucking beach. Gets on her horse.
Yeah. I'm not going to get blown up.
And I'm assuming that's because the bombs are actually not up high where they're at. They're probably down on the beach itself.
Well, she's lived there her whole life, too, so she probably knows that place like the back of her hand. She knows she can skip through the tulips.
Yeah, she's a wee dirty girl. Oh, she's dirty.
Patrick McGoohan's greatest role was in a Disney show. The Scarecrow of Romney Marsh. I don't care what anybody
That is a really good one. They took the series and made it took the movie and made it a series.
Yeah.
Or was the other? It is one or the other.
It was a British movie that they cut.
Okay, there, Martin. Sound like you choked to death.
Almost.
Had a little bit of a hiccup.
No, I think it was a series that they put on the Wonderful World of Color, is what it was called back then.
No, the Wonderful World of Disney. In color.
In color? Is that what it was?
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, that's when I first
Sunday
saw
nights on NBC.
Yeah. And they took that, put the 3 episodes together and edited it together as a movie and released it in Great Britain. Yeah.
So
That's
I'm just going to point this out that on Rotten Tomatoes, it carries a high rating. But again, they focus on the critics. If you look at the audience score for this movie, it's even higher.
Mm-hmm.
And got to be honest with you, audience scores are more important than the critic scores. Nobody gives a shit what critics think. And if you give a shit what critics think, you are thinking incorrectly. What you want to know is you want to find what the audience likes.
Yeah. Every time somebody talks about critics and being right about movies, I'm like, really? Look what they said about Star Wars when it came out.
All right, here comes the fist fight. And Devlin says something funny to me. He says, my father was a bare knuckle boxer.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, that doesn't mean shit. It's like your skill's what's important here.
Yeah.
But still, it's a funny bit of dialogue that he delivers here as he whips this guy's ass.
Yeah, he does.
And he gets on the ground, is about to do some ground and pound on him, and she yells.
She stops him. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because he was going to finish him even more.
Yeah. What I thought was funny was what he said. It's all about timing. Right in the middle of the fight, he tells him that because he's dodging everything he throws at him.
Yeah, it's like comedy. It's all about timing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great line. Yeah, he whips this guy's ass badly.
That was a terrible show. Yeah, don't ever watch it, Glenn. Don't ever waste your time on that.
Which one?
The remake of The Prisoner with Ian McKellen. And what's his name?
Some things we keep talking about remakes today.
Jim
Some
Caviezel.
things don't need to be remade, people.
Well, they just they clearly misunderstood The Prisoner.
Yeah.
I understand that most people don't understand The Prisoner. There are elements in it that you just can't understand. But the basic concept is that he's basically a prisoner in his own mind.
I've never seen it. I've heard good things about it, but I've never seen it. A lot of those.
It gets very confusing towards the
You'll
end.
hear Red Shirt and me talk about it because I love that show.
Yeah. A lot of those shows, those British shows from back then, like The Avengers and The Saint, I really want to go back and see, but I've only seen the American movie versions of them. You know what I mean? I've never watched the actual series.
The series did air on TV in the United States. I think CBS had the rights to it.
Yeah.
With Roger Moore. Very popular show.
The Saint, you mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very popular TV show.
Yeah, I want to watch that one because I'm a big Bond fan, and I want to see what Roger Moore did when he was young.
Oh, it's fun. I think he made a better Saint than James Bond.
Yeah, that's why I think it would be good because his personality seems like it would fit that kind of, lighthearted type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gutter was around 23 when she met. Whoa. Yeah.
Well, she was of legal age when she made what do you call it? Logan's Run, because she does a nude scene.
Yep. Mm-hmm. She does. Is that supposed to be her in the background there on the right with the shotgun and on your background? Because if it is supposed to be her, we need to talk to that portrait artist. He needs to do some better work. That doesn't look like her.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Jenny Agutter.
Yeah. He didn't get the nose right at all. That's no.
No, she has a turned up nose.
Yeah.
But it works. Here's the scene. He's like been in his house spying on him. And he's going to go report him to the Americans. And she grabs the shotgun, tries to stop him. And he won't listen. Goes up in the door and she empties the shells.
Takes care of him. Done. Right then, she's all in for Donald Sutherland right there. Because she's not part of this plot. She's just finding out what he's doing from this guy's stalker behavior, trying to expose him. And she's like, I don't care. Blast. See you later. You're not giving him up.
She tells him in the end, though, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like what this is making me do. But
yeah,
she loves him.
I'm all about you. I thought this was cool. I never get enough of this, man. Watching the actual.
These are real
jumps,
paratroopers.
That's cool as hell, dude.
These are
I
British
love that
paratroopers.
scene.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When they show them exiting the plane.
Exactly.
was
That's what I was
great.
gonna say.
That
Anima.
was
Yes,
awesome.
it's very cool, man. To watch him just.
Well, I
fly
had
through
her watch
software.
actual military videos of how they pile out of those planes. And it's like they go out very close together. It's not
Yeah.
this thing like in Hollywood, they show them go out and then someone goes out and then someone goes out. No, it doesn't work that way. They go out, 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 out.
But they usually film this on the inside of the plane. It's rare that you see from the outside how they drop. That's why I liked it.
Yep. Yeah, the jump masters usually go, 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 and they just all run out the damn door, man.
Yeah. And when they say go, go, they don't say it like go, go. Like go, 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 go. And you're fucking like go, move, move. And each person goes by, they grab the static line and push them. And the static line disconnects from theirs. And they make sure to stack them. They have to keep them out of the way of the next person. They're constantly paying attention to where that's at.
Yep. It's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, I love that part. I mean, even though the editing's a little rough in this, I still dug the movie, man. It's.
I've always felt that it should have been given to another editor to fix.
Yeah.
I would love to see another edit of this film.
This movie came out in the 70s, but it looked like a 60s movie to me. Is what it looked like to me. So.
Well, they were still making it the same way. The only difference was the quality of film, because you look at the Technicolor of Guns of Navarone, the color in this film, color gradation is so much better. There's also less. Oh man, I just forgot the term.
Grainy.
In video, we call it pixelation, pixels. There's dots and grain, film grain. You can see the difference in film grain from the 60s to when this film was shot. I love the jokes about this old guy. He's a great character.
Yep.
His little foxhole.
Yeah.
Everybody's nice to him.
Yeah. Sutherland walks by and says, what did he say? Get back in your foxhole. We're going to war.
Get back in your foxhole. And there's some great practical effects done in this film. I got to tell you, all of the combat in this is really well done. Yeah. And you could tell that they had really good military advisors on this film. Starting with when the Americans finally move up, the Rangers move up, they do a staggered forward movement, which is just spot on perfect.
Yeah.
Very well done. So whoever taught Treat Williams to do that was good at their job.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very cool stuff. It reminds me a lot of the battle scenes in The Wild Geese. That's what I thought of when I was watching it, man. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Yep. Which is one of my favorite movies ever. I love The Wild Geese, dude.
And who is the German in that?
In The Wild Geese? Oh, God. Yeah. I'm not sure.
He plays the part of an Afrikaner.
Right.
Because he keeps calling the guy a Keffer.
Yeah. Hang on, I'll look it up. Let me consult the Book of Armaments, sir.
And by the way, it's an act of kindness that betrays them.
Yep.
And I love that. That a German gives his life to save a little girl.
The actor's name is Hardy Kruger. Yeah.
Very good actor. Very good actor. There's Treat Williams. Look at him, all young and shit.
Yeah. When I saw his name in the credits at the beginning of it, I was like, what?
Yeah, 1976.
Well, this taking place in Great Britain, I didn't think we'd have Americans in it. I really didn't.
We had him for a long time, man. He was making some good films all the way till his death.
Yeah, it's a shame. Shame. Prince of the City was supposed to be his Pacino type movie, like Serpico movie, and it just didn't hit, you know. But Hair, who can forget that? I mean, Hair is one of the greatest.
Prince of the City is a very good film.
Yeah, it is. But it just wasn't received well. It really wasn't, you know. So, but Hair, who can forget that movie, dude? I mean, that whole scene at the end of it, where they're loading the C5A Galaxy with troops, is just oh shit. I mean, it's like they're going into a bottomless void, right? And it's just it says everything about that war, doesn't it? I mean, it's a good movie. I like that one a lot.
Outstanding movie he's in. Yeah, Hardy Kruger in Flight of the Phoenix.
Mhm.
Very good movie.
Yep.
Stuntman died in that movie.
Really?
Yeah, where it goes up over the dune, where they have it fly over the dune, and they did it once, worked perfectly, but the director wanted another shot, and when he did it second time, he crashed and burned and died, and they ended up using the first shot, and it was fine. And even the actors said, "Why are you making him shoot it again? It was perfect." Directors, man, they get a wild hair up their ass.
Yeah. Go again.
Deep Rising is one of my favorite kaiju films. Even though you never really get to see its full form. I fucking love that movie.
There's my man. There's Larry Hagman.
I love the end of that movie. That last line of "What now?"
Yeah, because something's working its way towards the trees. It's fucking great ending. And I always thought, why didn't we get a sequel? Because it was set up for a sequel. And it never happened. Fun movie. Absolutely a high octane action adventure film with a giant monster attacking a ship.
This is pretty smart here, having these guys do maneuvers in town so they get used to seeing soldiers around.
Well, yeah, it's like they would have them on them, but they wouldn't be wearing them. It's like, do you understand how fucking hot that would be?
Right.
Be difficult to move too.
But yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. Them doing maneuvers all over town, so they got the locals used to seeing troops running around. Right. Pretty smart. But yeah, Larry Hagman, they just passed through there pretty quick. But he's a commander that obviously wants his hero moment and is pissed off he's being sent back to the States.
Is that? Wait a minute, Bill. Is that official? Because I've never heard that.
Really?
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into this. That's interesting. Any further news of Churchill? And it's true. The ending of the film, absolutely true. And that's why the movie could be a work of fiction as well as could be true, because it is true. Churchill, as many leaders have done in the past, had body doubles.
Body doubles, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They've been saying Biden has one because he'll be like normal height, and then suddenly there'll be this super tall Biden walking around.
Weekend at Biden's? What?
Yeah. I like that one.
Oh man.
And her thing is she's had a beef with certain people for a long time in Britain. Yep. So that's why she's a traitor. Her excuse for being a traitor.
Yeah, I'll have to read this book and see what some of the subplot characters.
This is fake. This is a prop built on the side of the building, just for the movie.
Yeah. An act of kindness.
And just to remind you, we have gone through almost the 3/4 of the movie, and they've been successful at hiding as British troops or Polish troops with a British commander. And
closest anybody's come was the stalker that almost exposed it, but Jenny Gutter made sure he was put down. So
yep, she split that guy in half, even though he didn't get split in half in real life. He'd have been split in half.
Right.
Both barrels of a 12 gauge. Ain't pretty.
No, he wasn't getting up from that shit.
So here's the girl. She falls in, and the German paratrooper jumps in to save her, and then drowns himself by being dragged under the wheel.
He gets caught up by the wheel. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like, that's kind of gross the way he's like in the wheel.
Yeah, I was like, wow, the force of that water must be pretty tough to push his head through a piece of
They're
wood.
trying to say it was narrow.
Right. Okay.
And that's what did it.
It actually crushed him. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. But once he comes
up, that Polish soldier has a German uniform.
On. Yeah.
My answer to that was, we're getting ready to go on a mission where we have to go into German occupied territory.
Right? Couldn't he have come up with something on the fly? No, they just capture the whole town.
That's what my answer would have been.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a problem with that too, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, at least try something.
Yeah.
Now this young lady here gets shot, but she survives, thank God.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. Just to get back to that, Gary, he should have said, yeah, he's Op 4. He's going to take his jacket off later. He's going to be opposing forces for our next exercise. You know, I mean, come on, bro. He could have come up with something.
Or you could have gone classic Gerry and say, "No way! I didn't know this guy was a traitor."
Unreal. He's a German.
What?
Leave
No.
him there. Screw him.
Really?
That's what I would have done.
Hey, are you German? No, sir. Are you German? No, sir. Well, good. There's no more of them. We're good.
Yeah, because
Now,
nobody
you
would
can't
have been
say
able
that,
to tell
Glenn.
they're wearing two
Glenn,
uniforms.
hold on. Glenn, you can't say that. You can't say that because this film is adapted straight from the book. So the book is a ripoff
Yeah, the
of
book.
the 1942
You can
film.
say that about the
With
book, not the movie.
The Day
Yeah.
of Well. So you know how that shit works, Glenn. You know it.
And that was your today actually moment.
No, you can't. You can't say that. Well, you can say that, but you'll be wrong. The film isn't stolen. The book was, if it was.
So now we've got the entire town on lockdown. He's placed guys in teams of 2 at every point of entry, and he's given them orders that everybody in the town is to stay there, and anybody coming in is to be locked in as well. So
yep,
there you go. And everybody that witnessed what happened is in the church, locked up.
And I like the fact that they have zero interest in harming any of these people.
Yeah, no doubt. That
Not
they
their
weren't
mission.
negotiating or nothing like that. It was,
In fact, they risked their lives for them.
To take care of these people. Yeah, no doubt. Mm-hmm. Which was set up. I think that was the whole reason for the.
Well,
the
Michael
Jewish
Caine
scene.
wanted to remind people we're not humanizing Yazis. We're humanizing Germans.
Exactly.
The average German soldier was not a Yahtzee.
That's right.
Only 10% of the population.
Now, the E-boat they're talking about was the PT boat that they had stolen, that he and his team had stolen and killed the crew, the American crew, because they were delivering supplies to the Dutch, as I recall.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know because I won't watch that movie.
What? Yeah. What is the point of watching that?
I know
flick?
Air Force One, but G-20's out. It's just an insult to the intelligence.
You want to watch a good movie like that? Then watch Air Force One or watch Olympus Has Fallen. These are good movies. You know.
Yeah, Olympus Has Fallen. Was it that one? Which one was supposed to be another Die Hard film?
Olympus
the one
Has
with the
Fallen
kid.
is in that vein. That one
No,
has
it's the other
Gerard
one.
Butler.
It's about the White House. It's where it gets
White House
taken.
Down. The one with
White House Down was supposed to be a Die Hard film. And what's funny is the main character ends up running around in a wife beater shirt, just like in Die Hard.
Just like Die Hard. Yep. Mm-hmm. Olympus Has Fallen was filmed here. I drove right by the false front of the White House. It was right on the other side of the tracks from my neighborhood. Every day I drove past there. Yep. Well, after Katrina, a lot of the New Orleans film stuff moved up here. So that
and just to let you know, Louisiana got our tax write-off for Hollywood.
Yeah.
What you use in Louisiana is our. We gave it to Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Our fucking governor, Jay Nixon, that dumb piece of shit, gave it to New Orleans.
Thanks,
and that's
brother.
why they don't film much here anymore.
Yeah.
Hollywood doesn't come here anymore. The last thing really shot here was Winter's Bone.
Costner was a big force in bringing film production here. He has a house on Cross Lake here now, and Mr. Brooks was filmed here. The Guardian, bunch of those movies.
I like Mr. Brooks.
We have to.
Okay, so I pause this for a reason. So let me get into this.
Yep.
This is the note scene.
Yeah.
And he leaves her a note, a letter.
Yeah, he kind of takes advantage of her right before this, gives her a kiss and steals the keys and takes off.
Yeah.
He bails on her. Yep.
He goes, I left you a note in the sealed envelope. And
Mhm.
she goes ahead and reads it, but we don't learn what it says until later.
Yeah.
And all the real buildings, including that cemetery is real out beside the church, are still there. I've seen pictures of the village to this day. It's just beautiful. And I absolutely believe this is in the studio. I don't believe this is on the location at
I
all.
don't think they would have. Yeah, because there's a lot of squib work.
The
in
lighting
here and
feels
stuff.
generated. It doesn't feel
Yes.
natural.
And they probably wouldn't want to hurt the church, the actual church, for filming of this type. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a studio. They're in there.
There, now you said it correctly. Glenn. No. You said it correctly. So I'm good with that.
There you go.
It's like when people refer to a film based off of a film being remade, they'll say it's a remake. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a readaptation.
Readaptation.
It's not a remake of the original film. It's a remake of the book. So
Yeah.
that's called an adaptation.
Yeah, when they take the surfer bums from Point Break and turn them into sports guys, yeah, it's a adaptation. It's not a remake.
So this guy here, Larry Hagman's character, is a complete fucking buffoon. And Treat Williams' character is trying to tell him how to do things.
Yes!
And he won't do it. He won't do it. He
Right.
wants to lead into battle, and he has this idea of how to do things. And, well, we all know how that turns out for him.
He wants to get his medal. That's what he wants. And he's telling him, call the war office so they can deal with this and warn him and everything. And he's like, no, I want this. He's not saying this, but we all know he wants it to happen, so they'll have to be firing shots in anger. That's what he wants. He wants a conflict. So, yeah, he's not listening to Treat Williams at all.
It's a genre that people are trepidatious with because it's been kind of overdone.
We
So
did
they
get
limit-
Masters of the Air, though.
Yeah, which
Not
is
a movie,
TV,
but a show. But
it's
yeah,
really
but
good. Yeah.
They are still doing World War II stuff.
Fury, I have so many problems with that fucking movie. Because I know the real crew that it's based on, and they should have done the real crew and
I've
done
never
them
watched
right.
I've never watched that one.
To me, Fury is right there in line with Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, it looked like something that was kind of hokey to begin with. So that's what I thought.
And by the way, that white building that they're set up in, the Americans,
Mhm.
looks so familiar that I think I've seen it before, and I'm going to go look it up later to see if it's the same building that I saw in another film, which I think is A Bridge Too Far,
Okay.
which we shot really close together with this one.
This guy doesn't even know who he's dealing with.
He's a buffoon.
He has no clue who he's dealing with. He gets a bunch of dudes killed.
By the
right?
way, if you don't recognize that guy right there,
I do. Taxi. Yeah. What's up? What's that guy's name?
it's
Hang
the
on.
young actor on Taxi.
Yeah.
He
he's the
plays
young
an
guy.
actor trying to get work in Hollywood.
Yep. I think, doesn't Michael Caine's character knock him out by a Jeep later on?
Yep.
Pretty sure. Yeah. He
Knocks
steals
him
the Jeep.
unconscious.
Yeah, gets his
There he
uniform
is.
and everything from him. Yeah. Hang on. I just saw him on the cast list here a second ago. For some reason,
And he died too. He died young.
yeah, he did.
He died in the 20-teens.
Why is it
Alcoholism, man. Alcoholism.
Not, for some
That and
reason,
drug abuse will kill you.
it's not wanting to load for some reason. I'll get it though, Gerry. Keep going. I'll find it. But he was the face character. He was the good-looking guy on Taxi.
Yeah, on Taxi.
That all the
pretty boy.
young girls. Yeah, he was the pretty boy on it. Oh God, I know his name. Please, would you load up? For some reason, it doesn't want to load up my shit. Here we go. Okay. Hang on, let's see.
they don't respect him at all because the team can tell he's not a real military guy.
Right.
So they send out somebody else to fuck with him.
His name was Jeff Conaway. Jeff
Yeah.
Conaway.
So
Says he was on Frasier.
this
too,
German
apparently.
paratrooper is not the commander. He's not Steiner,
No.
and he's just out there to fuck with Hagman's character
Yeah.
because they don't respect him.
No, not at all. Says here Jeff
Dunkirk
Conaway.
was an okay film, and I had problems with that one too. Jojo Rabbit, I actually enjoyed the shit out of that. I hate saying it because I can't stand Taika Waititi. I just can't
Taika
stand it.
Waititi has his place. His thing is comedy. I love What We Do in the Shadows. That is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. But he doesn't need to touch certain material, namely comic book films. He needs to stay the hell out of them. The only part I ever liked him in the comic book realm was in the second Suicide Squad movie as the Rat Killer. Or the Rat Master or whatever.
Will we get gig for him saying that?
What's that?
Because it has a word in that title that we're not
Oh.
supposed to say.
Oh,
We
it's
probably
the title
will.
of the show. It's a
Yeah,
title. of
I
the show.
know. Nobody cares. YouTube doesn't care.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. I will have to
Don't worry about it.
amend my language. But yeah, Watiti's got his place. But yeah, Jojo Rabbit I haven't seen. So you recommend that one? Is it funny?
Yeah, I enjoyed the crap out of it. So this is one of the first combat scenes, and the Americans were not prepared. They get their asses handed to them. They get ambushed.
Yup. And the smarter ones survive it. They're actually taking cover and
Well, they
stuff.
bug out
Yeah.
and hunker down.
Yep.
They either hunker down or they bug out.
Mhm.
I think
These
one of
guys
the
get
American
smoked.
problem
They
was
get
they
ripped
The
apart.
Americans
Yeah.
here on this
Really?
river, right there in the water, get smoked by the Germans.
Yeah, they had
We
no way
have
to go.
sacks
Hi,
in
Zach.
our
Yes, I
They
midst.
saw.
sent home the experienced guys. So these
Wait.
guys have probably not seen much combat, and that's one of their problems.
Hey, buddy, how you doing today, man?
Wait
Happy
for
Monday
it.
to you.
Wait for it.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
Good to see you, Zax.
Luca scenes in this, because back then they didn't have to say all clear because the secondary guy, loads the bazooka, and when he taps him on the helmet,
That's the go.
Mm.
Yep. That's the go. Right there. He's
Look-
letting them know it's clear back there.
Hagman's face says it all.
Yeah, it does. He's a maniac. Yeah, these guys are just, dude. Yeah, it's clear that they have the upper hand here.
Oh, Sten guns are crap. Also, you tend not to see full automatic used in actual combat. They do bursts. They'll do quick bursts because you don't want to waste your ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Full automatic can draw your weapon off the target. What you do is you fire a burst and then steady, fire a burst, steady, fire a burst. And that's how you do it. And that's how they were doing it even in World War II. In fact, they always show the MG, the 42. Is that it? The MG 42? The designation of the German machine gun, mounted machine gun. Anybody?
Yeah.
Nobody?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
No, no.
I
you
think
have
it's
the
MG
40
42. What?
you have the 42, and I think the 38.
Okay, the
or
42 is the one I'm
36.
talking about. So the MG 42, like they show in Saving Private Ryan, where it's constantly firing,
Yeah. That's
couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. It would be fired in bursts
Now
because the
this
barrel would overheat.
cracked me the fuck up. I laughed.
Well,
my
he's such an
ass off.
idiot.
He is a dumbass. Yes.
He gets shot in the head with a live grenade in his hand, fumbles down the stairs, then the grenade falls down on his dead body.
Right under his chin.
The sergeant, smart enough to hit the dirt, jumps up, runs up that stairs, and just fucking full automatic fire through that door.
I mean, look, that look says it all right there. Freeze frame.
That is absolutely a great Brad Pitt moment from Burn After Reading.
Yep.
Also, they
think
know
he was,
shit about walking into a building correctly. They
Oh
just
my
go
God.
in
Do
there. They
you
don't know
think
what
he
to
was
do.
surprised?
Yeah.
And he goes in there, he's like shot through the door, and she's fucking deader than doornails.
Yeah, the frontline soldier has more brains than the officer does right there. It's just so silly, man.
Enemy
But
at
I
the Gates
loved it.
was
I
good,
laughed
but
my
they
ass
fucked
off.
up
I
the
thought
ending.
it was funny as hell. Yeah.
They fucked up the ending of that movie, Enemy at the Gates. Oh, we can't do that scene because they've already done it in Saving Private Ryan. Well, Saving Private Ryan didn't steal it from your story. They stole it from the Vietnam story of the American sniper. Bleh. Fucking Hollywood. So at the end of Enemy at the Gates, by the way, I love this when that bazooka takes out that vehicle.
The truck. Yeah. The guys on the bazooka team know what they're doing, man. They take out their transport to begin with, and then they start launching shit at everything. It's great.
Yeah. The only thing that pissed me off is when they show them fire up into the church. That explosion shouldn't have been at the window. It should have been inside, and it should have blown out the windows, because that round would have gone right through that window.
Right through the window. Yeah. I thought that was
at the end of Enemy at the Gates. They, instead of showing what actually happened or what is told to have happened, they make it into a Western where they're at two ends of a train, and he outwitted the German. And the German's name, ironically, is the same name as the actor that played Chekhov in Star Trek. His name was Walter Koenig.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. But there are those who say that that's a fictional person too, that he didn't really exist. But it goes back and forth. Historians say, well, there was, and he was a sharpshooter, and we don't know what the true story is on that.
Well, you would have to believe that a Russian make propaganda and shit. Oh, wait.
And they do. And that's why I'm like, yeah, some of that could have been bullshit, that he shot him through the scope.
Mm-hmm.
He shot the German sniper when he saw a glint under some paper. He saw a glint, and he aimed it where he saw the glint. Just trying to remember where he saw the glint. Fired and shot right through the guy's scope. Now, in reality, that probably wouldn't happen. You would shoot the scope, and the scope would go through his skull.
Right.
Nice picture.
right here, Michael Caine's character acknowledges the fact that, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. We need to go talk to him. Because he showed up with a lot more people.
Showed up with a lot more people and holding a weapon a certain way.
Yeah, right? But yeah, he's fixing to go out and negotiate what they're going to do now. This is a pretty good scene here. And I do miss Treat Williams. He was a good actor, man. He was really good.
I also do like this line from Michael Caine when he goes back inside as a German. I'll decide how I die.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He tells him that straight up.
As a soldier, I will decide how I die.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Wonder Woman is a war film.
Yeah. I thought Wonder
Almost
Woman...
every major character in that is a warrior.
Yeah.
From World War I.
War Profiteer, a couple of them. And yeah, it's a good World War I movie, I thought. Yeah, I mean, it's got the superhero aspect of it, but I thought it was... What really struck me is the fact that when they're getting on the boat, after they've already shipped out there, they're crossing that bridge, and you see all the injured troops coming through. And Chris Pine's character says, "This is why we're doing this, for these guys, to get them to where we're not killing anybody anymore, not hurting anybody." And I thought that was a great scene in that first Wonder Woman movie.
Well, I wanted to get back to this because this is a really good scene where, when they're leaving, a confrontation happens between the priest.
Yes. And they don't even try and hold these guys to negotiate anything. They're like, get them out of here.
Oh, and this is nice too, because that's the girl the German died saving.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, because Devlin had to open his fucking mouth.
Yeah. He's a shithead. He's IRA, man. They love to fucking brag, dude. You know that.
And the ironic part is, he's a Catholic. and he's saying it to a Catholic priest, and I'm like,
Right.
oh man. So
Yeah,
he wants to fight him.
But he's doing that just for one purpose, and it's not to antagonize the priest. He just wants his keys, the keys
Yep.
to his car. That's all.
That's why he did it. Yep. Smart move.
Yeah, because Michael Caine is about to fucking chew him out for that, and then he shows him the keys. I've got
Yep.
his keys.
Yep. There's a way out, and he tells him about the tunnel and everything. Yep.
Because what a lot of people don't know is these old churches like that, when Catholicism was outlawed in England, Catholics had to go underground. And
they had to get people in and out without being seen. Yep.
Yep.
I thought this was interesting right here when he goes back to it and talks to his guys. He didn't try to get them all out. I mean, he didn't even mention it because those guys automatically said, look, we'll give you the time you need, and he doesn't even argue with them. It's like an unsaid thing. He respects them and their choice.
And the only the only officer he takes or soldier he takes with him is the wounded one.
Is the wounded one, because he knows that he's going to hamper him. Yeah, no doubt. He's done his part already, so he takes him with him. But he doesn't even argue with these guys. He said that one guy says cover fire in about 30 seconds. He's like, all right, let's go, let's do this.
And I think it's so important that they show that scene based on an actual incident at the beginning of the film. In order for you to care about these characters, you had to understand that these characters didn't like the Yahtzees either.
No, they didn't. Yeah.
And by showing that, you were allowed to like these Germans.
Mm-hmm.
They are prisoners of their love for their country.
They're German patriots is what they are. They're German patriots. Yeah.
God, that is a garbage weapon. Now that's the really M1 carbine, and look at that. That's a 32 round clip.
Jeez, man. Wow.
You had a banana clip there. Now, when I first saw it, I thought that was a 20, but then you see the close-up, man. Oh, no, that's a 50. Fuck.
The bazooka team is doing work, dude. They are doing work.
So this is where they do the stagger thing.
Yeah.
One drops, does cover, the next one moves up, and they keep staggering
really
that
good.
way.
It is
until
really
they get
good.
up to the building. Very well shown in the film.
It's well choreographed scene, no doubt. Whoever set that up knew what they were doing. It's really good.
And there was British military involved with this film, so I'm assuming that's probably what they did. They had somebody there helping them.
Yep.
Didn't pay them. Didn't give them credit. I also do love the Irish crosses.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I think you've done Kelly's Heroes already, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Donald Sutherland, he's unforgettable as that tank driver, man.
Oh, first of all, the greatest character in that film is Don Rickles.
Yeah, absolutely.
As this crooked supply sergeant.
Yes, because we all know a supply sergeant like that if you've been in the military, dude.
Not to use one when his own troops fired on him after hearing the distinctive sound. Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful with any weapon. If you pick up a weapon from an enemy, it's like that line in a movie that I really don't think is that good a film, but I still love it. Heartbreak Ridge.
Yeah.
And he opens fire on his own trainees. Actually, they're not trainees. They're fucking
they're Marines.
Already regular Marine recon. And he yells, fires over their heads. They all hit the ground. That is the AK-47, the preferred weapon of your enemy. It makes a distinct sound when fired. Know it well.
Yep.
That scene was fucked up.
Yeah, Donald Sutherland played the tank commander. Savalas is in it, though.
Yeah.
Thank God not the psycho this time, because he played the psycho in Dirty Dozen. Good God. You just wanted him dead. It's like somebody fucking killed this guy.
Telly Savalas can be over the top, man. He really can.
He's just a good fucking actor.
Yeah.
He
played a good Blofeld.
He will be forever Kojak.
Yeah.
Who loves you, baby?
Who loves you, baby? Where's my lollipop? Who loves you, baby?
He was supposed to be a cigarette smoker, but because he quit smoking, he took up sucking on lollipops, and so that became the signature for that show.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Telly Savalas.
Mm-hmm.
Worst Blofeld.
Worst Blofeld? No. Okay.
Absolutely the worst. I love Savalas. I couldn't stand
He's
him.
too
as
telly.
Blofeld.
He's too telly.
He's American. He's got a fucking Brooklyn accent.
Yeah.
Playing in Blofeld. It's like, that's like when I watched The Last Temptation of Christ. You got Harvey Keitel as Judas going, "What are you doing there, Jesus? Hey,
Yeah.
why don't you get out there and do what you're supposed to do?"
Kind of takes you out of the story, doesn't it?
Yeah, it totally takes you out. You get this fucking Brooklyn accent, Jersey accents in that movie too.
Now, what they just showed there, the boat that's going to get him out of there, that pull up, and the wounded guy doesn't want to leave him, and he makes him.
It's an
get on
order.
the boat.
He says, "You've never disobeyed an order of mine.
That's it. Get on the
Don't
boat."
start now."
Yep.
But what sucks is that the movie ends and it shows that they didn't leave like they were supposed to, and they got trapped when the tide was out.
Yeah. And Rob Duvall's getting the bad news now.
I was going to say this earlier. I don't know why he has a beard.
Yeah, that's kind of strange to me, too.
And I thought maybe it's because he's under his command and he's more relaxed. They have a very close relationship, clearly.
Is he an intelligence officer? Is that a possibility?
He's running intelligence. But I don't have a good answer as to why he has a beard. Now, you might see some of that in the field, like with armor, German armor. But even they tried to shave. But you would see tankers down there in Africa, in North Africa, with beards. But this guy has a beard that because Anima asked me and I couldn't answer. I couldn't answer why he had it. I said, I don't know.
Well,
maybe they're just more relaxed.
Intelligence. I was thinking maybe intelligence because he might have to go undercover and that kind of thing. So
no, he's in uniform.
But
So
yeah, he's in uniform and he's an officer, so he's supposed to look well groomed. And the beard is kind of wild.
Anyway, yeah, that was strange. I thought that was weird. Yeah, this is the one. This is the part where Taxi Guy gets knocked out and his shit stolen from him.
And again, the film diverges from the book in this conclusion as Michael Caine gets up there and shoots Winston Churchill.
Oh, who he thinks Winston Churchill is.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, "Oh my god, he did it! What is this?"
I think the better ending would have had him survive and realize that he failed.
Is he the character that's supposed to be in the sequel? Is that who you were referring to?
Yeah, because he is. There's a sequel book. And in the book, Devlin breaks him out of a British prison. War prison.
So he
and
lives
so they can do another mission.
Yeah, they couldn't have done a sequel to this. Not doing it the way they ended it.
Oh my God. John Wayne delivering that line is so weird. It takes you out of the movie because you see this Roman centurion standing there and as Jesus has died, and he says, "This man truly was the Son of God." You know, and it's like, was that John Wayne? Like, what the?
Yikes. Yeah, the best film about that story Mel Gibson made, and I've only seen it once. I've tried to watch it again.
I've seen it twice.
It's not something you watch every day. It's brutal.
I saw it once by myself, and then I when Zoe was old enough, I let her watch it.
Yeah. It should be watched by everyone. If you think you've had a bad day,
and it's still
watch Passion of the Christ.
They pulled punches on what was done to his skin.
Yeah,
because his ribs were exposed.
Mm-hmm.
He was flayed. His back was flayed to where you could see the muscle and bone underneath. There was no skin. He was dying.
But that
already.
scene where his mother can't take it anymore, sees him fall in the alley. If that doesn't get you, then you don't have a heart. That's just all there's to it. It's something else. Mel Gibson's a great movie director, man. I will watch anything he does.
Yes, a friend of mine, atheist friend of mine, says, "Well, it's just a work of fiction." I said, "Sold was Old Yeller. Did you not cry when he died?"
Right? Hell, man.
Stop using. It's hatred. That's the thing that bugs me is the hatred. I can't understand hatred.
Yeah,
dude.
So back to this movie.
Wait. I have an anecdote about that movie. A friend of mine is talking with a lady, and she's and he's talking. I don't know how the conversation went to that movie when he said, "Well, in the Passion of Christ," and the lady said, "No, stop. I haven't seen it." And he was, "What? Am I going to spoil it for you?"
that's good.
Oh, he dies at the end and comes back. Yeah. So, all right. So this is him driving through the gate. They let him through because they think he's that lieutenant,
Right.
that second or first lieutenant.
Mhm.
Yeah, if it's gold, it's second. If it's silver, it's first lieutenant. Never seen that one, buddy. I've never seen Guardians of Legends of the Guardians. Never seen it.
We call second lieutenants butter bars.
Okay, I don't want to get distracted here anymore. This is the end of the movie.
Mhm.
So he is snuck in, and he gets discovered pretty quickly because they radio in. They found the lieutenant, still unconscious,
Right.
and he comes around the gate on this porch or whatever the fuck this is, patio. And they look at each other. He and Steiner and Churchill lock eyes. He's been drinking his brandy with smoking his cigar. And then suddenly he just shoots him. And immediately he gets shot by the Americans.
I was like, whoa. What the? Yeah, he took his.
I always feel kind of bad for his character because he dies thinking he succeeded.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't feel bad for him. He was happy.
A lot of slides for the
And I don't know where I know this guy, this British officer, but I know him from something. And I'm going to have to go look at the credits again and see who that dude is. He's dressed to the nines.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing he's missing is his hat.
Yeah.
And by the way, he does not shoot him with the Luger. That's the long barrel Walther, as I recall.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you know anything about your history, they used the Luger for dress because it was a shitty pistol. Most German officers preferred carrying the Walther.
So it was a shitty weapon, but it looked nice.
It jammed all the time.
Oh.
But it's a very good looking gun.
Yeah.
Very distinct look to it. Yeah, and this is where you learn that wasn't Winston Churchill, that was an actor who worked for, the theater and took this role, a role of a lifetime, died doing it.
Mm-hmm. Died for his country.
And now you get to hear the words of that letter of how much he is in love with her.
Before the Ewoks kill him.
Not just kill him, they ate him. People don't realize that. They ate the stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And that's actually a matte painting. It's very well done.
Yeah.
And he realizes, well, I'm trapped in England. It's a very good film. I think it would have been better if Richard Harris hadn't gotten in trouble and had played that part.
Well, yeah.
Because he's from Limerick, Ireland. He's got a proper Limerick
Irish,
accent.
So, yeah.
Now, there's an actor in the film that gets, that's Anthony Quayle.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who knows Guns of Navarone, he was in that. And I seem to remember John Standing from some Hammer work. Glenn, am I correct on that? Did he not appear in some of the Hammer films? ITC. Boy, that logo right there meant a lot to me as a kid. It meant either Gerry Anderson was getting ready to come on with Space 1999 UFO or one of those shows, or the Muppets.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, that logo meant one or the other.
Saw a lot of it on LPB, no doubt. Louisiana Public Broadcasting.
So, home video. While the US and UK VHS cassettes had the 123-minute US cut, most of the DVDs and Blu-rays available worldwide feature the original UK theatrical cut, which in the DVD region 2 and 4 countries runs 130 minutes at 25 frames per second. That's PAL speed. There are two exceptions. First, the US NTC DVD from Artisan Entertainment had some missing scenes reinstated for a runtime of 131 minutes. It has been superseded by a Shout Factory Blu-ray DVD dual format set containing the UK theatrical cut and the various extras. In 2004, Carlton Visual Entertainment in the United Kingdom released the 2-disc special edition PAL DVD version, which contains various extras and 2 versions of the film. The UK theatrical version and a newly restored extended 145-minute version, equivalent to 151 minutes at 24 frames per second. I don't know how that works. It's not like the movie sped up. That sounds weird. Although the packaging claims otherwise, both versions have 2.0 stereo soundtrack. The extended version contains a number of scenes that were deleted even before the European cinema release. And it goes through a whole list of them here. Do you guys want me to tell you the alternate ones or just skip this?
Do your thing, man.
Martin?
Do it.
Anima?
What?
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Do it now.
So, alternative opening. Originally, the film was intended to start with Heinrich Himmler, Donald Pleasance, arriving at Schloss. Oh my God, honey, I don't know how to pronounce this word.
Put it in the private chat. I'll tell you.
Hohenschwangau. What the fuck?
Put it in the private chat, please. Copy paste it in the
You're
private
gonna give Anima an aneurysm.
Yeah. I need to fix
If I want to
this.
give her an aneurysm, I'll spell it one letter at a time.
No, that'll just add another slap on the list of slaps that have to be given to you one
There you
time.
go, sweetheart. It's in the private chat.
Schloss Hohenschwangau.
Schwangau. Okay. That name that she just said is where he was supposed to arrive. For a conference with Adolf Hitler. I just said that name. Crap.
We're doomed.
Sorry.
This show is doomed.
Canaris, Martin Bormann, and Joseph Goebbels. Or Goebbels, as some people say, but there's no R. It's
Joseph Goebbels.
Goebbels. It precedes the scenes under the opening credits, which are long aerial shot of the staff car leaving the castle in question. The deleted scene explains why Schloss Castle appears in the credits, but not in the film. Extended scene in which Rattle arrives at Advia headquarters. He discusses his health with the German army doctor played by Freddie Main. Oh, I know him. Yeah. God, man, great German actor. He is the vampire in the Fearless Vampire Killers. I think he's Czechoslovakian. Anyway, that scene was removed. The scene at the Berlin University where Liam Devlin is a lecturer, and that's why he's there. He's giving a lecture. Next scene is Lensvoort, where Steiner and von Neustadt discuss the mission, its merits, and its consequences. Next is an extended scene of Devlin's arrival at Studley Constable, in which he and Joanna Gray discuss their part in the mission. Next scene is of Devlin driving his motorbike through the center of the village and on the cottage where he inspects the barn before returning to the village. So yeah, that's not in there. That's not even the cut we just saw. How long was that cut, Martin? The next scene that was cut, in which Devlin reads poetry
It's
to
2 hours
Molly
and
Pryor.
15 minutes.
Yeah,
There's an
that's
extra
the one we
15 minutes
watched.
in the other one. 2
Yeah.
hours and 15 minutes.
To
So
15, yes.
Yeah, there's an extra 15 minutes if that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so scene in which Devlin reads poetry to Molly. Next one is an extended scene in which Molly interrupts Devlin shortly after he receives the army vehicles. And then the final scene that was cut, the scene on the boat at the end of the film showing the fate of von Neustadt. The scene is also featured in the special edition DVD stills gallery. So I don't know what that is. What was his fate?
The boat?
Did they get
run
captured?
aground,
Did they get
right?
shot? Well, they're run aground, but it doesn't show them, so we don't know what happened to them.
Yeah.
So, and one final scene that was cut from the film is the death of director John Sturges for not sticking around when Michael Caine got a hold of him.
Right?
Didn't happen. But I'm sure he probably would have put a few choice words into him if he ever had a chance.
Hello.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wasn't happy about it. Said he'd never work with him again, right?
Yeah. So very interesting stuff, man. I love this movie. And what's so funny is, again, I watching it with Anima was the first time I'd seen it since I was a kid. I love the movie and it sits in my head all the time. I'm always thinking about it. Something will remind me of it, another film.
Mm-hmm.
And but I never caught that as a kid. That's who Robert Duvall's character is a representation of, is the gentleman von I just forgot his name again. Schlossenberg?
From Neustadt. Or what?
Von
No.
Schlossenberg.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He's got a fake hand in this too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, his hand's gone. He lost his hand and his eye.
probably in the First World War.
No, in the
Oh.
Second World War.
Yes,
He
in
was on a
Africa.
mission. If he's based on that character, which I think he is, it was on a mission. What's
Well, the
that?
one in the
Martin?
movie looks
He was
older.
on a mission on Africa. He was strafed by a plane.
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh,
that's what happened to the real guy. Yeah, and I'm assuming that's probably the same with him, and that's why he ended up becoming a desk jockey in Germany.
Well,
But because of that job, there was a network within the German army, the Wehrmacht, and these were German officers that were getting sick of the Yazis, and they wanted to be done with that, and they wanted to get rid of Hitler completely, and they wanted to clean house. And a bomb was supposed to take care of a bulk of them, and he was so lucky. Like how that guy was so fucking lucky. Like every single time something happened, there was either somebody between him or he moved to a position too far away from the explosive, and he'd survive. History just freaks you out when you read about how many missed opportunities to assassinate Adolf failed. The Catholic Church, because you hear this all the time. Oh, the Pope was Hitler's Pope, blah blah blah. Like no, they actually set a team of people out to kill him, and it's what inspired one of my stories, The Missionary Man.
If you don't think the Catholic Church has its own assassins,
oh, they did,
they do.
and I kind of think they still do, because they have their own version of the CIA.
Hello,
The Vatican does.
the Vatican
People
is a
don't
country
even
unto
realize
itself.
some of the best
Yeah.
scientists on this planet. Guess where they work? For the Catholic
Vatican.
Church.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That's
The
one thing I
Jesus
loved
particle,
about the
of the
sequel
stuff
to
that they've discovered.
yeah, the sequel
scary
to
shit.
Da Vinci Code, they show that at the beginning of it when
Yeah.
they're trying to find the God particle. And
Yeah, that's
I thought it was
absolutely
really
true.
cool
That's
that they
these
actually
people
showed a
are really down there.
Catholic
I
scientist.
did it in one of my stories where they actually find the that Judas didn't die after the crucifixion, that he was survived and protected by the other apostles, because they knew that he was sent by Jesus to do what he had to do, because without what he did, none of the miracle wouldn't happen. So he
Right.
was essential to the plan, and so
He
therefore
had to be
was
caught.
forgiven.
Yeah. Mhm.
But the Catholic Church chose to keep it a secret. So there you go. And that was a little thriller I wrote. It's part of the Missionary Man plotline. And in that one, the guy is an ordained priest, but he's an assassin. And one of the best scenes that I wrote into that is a scene where you see him in the shower. And as he's in the shower, it's dark. You can see just one light from the shower up above him, showing that he has thousands of names all tattooed all over his body.
Wow.
And these are the names of people he's killed.
Wow. That's
Because in his mind, that when he dies and is ascended, towards the end of time, because he figures he'll be sent to purgatory until the end. And when it ends, he will be reunited with his body, and with all those names, he can be forgiven for the names of every single person he killed. So
That's a weird way of thinking.
that's the religious way of thinking. And but in the end, he finds out that this female scientist has to be killed, and that's his target, and he refuses to kill her. And he ends up taking on an army to protect her.
good one, Glenn.
Read that one.
Oh, dude, let me tell you something, Glenn. That was the first version of that painting I did that ended up being used for Vindicated, where the guy's standing there with a towel, and you see the scars on his back, and his leg is missing. He's got a prosthetic on. Mac turned to that one and said, "Awesome, you did your first gay porn DVD cover." And I'm like, fuck you, I can never unsee that now, you son of a bitch. And that's why I've never published it. I mean, it's out there, you can see it, but like, he ruined it for me. He put something into my head that I can't not see now.
Right.
Fucking dickhead. I want to get him on the show so you guys can see how fucking funny he is. Ginny Gutter, Treat Williams joined equally the whole package. Yes. What was the one before that, Martin? I want to read that previous comment. The Lost Symbol ended up being a TV series.
Yeah, I thought they were going to make that into a movie. My wife is a big fan of the author that writes those novels, and yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I did not know it became a TV series. I thought they were going to make a movie of it. Not a big fan of Inferno. Not a big fan of that one. I don't even remember that movie, really. The third one that they did. But
it's so funny. When I see Waltz, I say Waltz. But when I see the name Waltz, I say Waltz. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I distinguish between the two, even though they're technically the same.
But this movie has an awesome cast, and like I said, the two guys that stand out to me, and of course, Michael Caine's great in everything he does. I mean,
That is true.
But
okay, I got to use this in one of my stories. I'm going to put it in the script, and it has to take place in the 50s. It may be that story that you and I've talked about, Operation Hound Dog, Glenn, where the guy says, he goes, "I can't believe I'm going to do this," and the guy grabs him by the arm and goes, "Do it for Janet Leigh in the shower." But it would be not apocryphal. What's the word I'm looking for? Anachronistic, because that came out in 1960, whereas the story takes place in 57. So I don't know how.
So the guy should say who, and the other say never mind.
Never mind. It's a movie. It's going to come out soon. I saw Into the Future. Yeah, it's exactly another great example. And he's one of my favorites. And by the way, he was on Conan one night, and Conan says, Well, what do you think about the rumor? As you say, rumor. It's a word like rumor about Germans not having good senses of humor. And Christoph goes, "What do you mean rumor?" So Germans are hammers. They don't understand humor at all. Everything to them is a hammer. You hit it with a hammer. He is not kind to Germans at all.
It
That's
depends
funny.
where you go in Germany. Bavarians have a great sense of humor. The further up north, the weirder they get.
I have to remember.
What's the weirdest German you've ever run into?
Guy I grew up with?
No.
Nah, he's American.
No, I'm talking to Anima. What's the weirdest German you ever ran into?
I had a tourist once in Croatia. He was from Berlin, and he was bad shit crazy. Of course, alphabet people material.
Yeah.
Rainbow hair and everything he said was just so fucked up. That dude was an idiot. And a nightmare, because once he figured out that I speak German, he got stuck to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That one was a loony.
Oh, that's like, oh my God. When we were in Marbella, Spain, and my dad found that club owned by expatriates from England, and he wanted to hang out there all the time, and it was a gay bar. But he wanted to hang out there anyway because they spoke English, and he missed English so much.
It happens to a lot of expats.
So, all right, we are done here. Let's get the hell out of here, guys. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Christian Delorme, Mon Ami, Penny, of course, Mephisto was here, Emmanuel, Andy Morrow, Bill Barkley. Got a lot of limeys today, I guess, because it's a British production. So there you go.
Maybe.
British production with an American director. That pisses me off. They should have got somebody else to direct this film. Glenn Fleming, 3 in a row, 3 fucking limeys in a row there. Andy Morrow, Bill Barkley, and Glenn Fleming. And then, of course, our good friend Zach's, my good buddy. And, of course, Gambit 1987 dropped in here at the end. Thanks for everybody dropping in today and hanging out with us. It's always wonderful to see you guys on a Monday because I hate Mondays. I really do. Not a fan of mornings either, by the way. If it was up to me, I would get up at the crack of noon. So my daughter does too. She got the gene from me.
Yeah.
Her mother, biologically, she is a morning person. And I hated that because I don't want people being cheerful around me in the morning. I really can't stand that.
Not before the first coffee, anyway.
It's like I'm looking at him like, I look at them like, what the fuck is wrong with you? We had one of those people that floated through the office like a fucking fairy, with wings when I worked at TruckNet she was this, God, I loved her. She's a really good person, but she would annoy me in the mornings. She had a high-pitched voice too. She would get all, like she was talking to a puppy. You know how women start talking to dogs?
I hate
it's
that.
like, and I would just go, oh my God, fucking get your coffee and leave.
You wouldn't want to be around me then, bro. Yeah, I'm a morning.
Well, that
person.
song is actually based on a horrific true story of that teacher who went in there and opened up with I think it was a shotgun on students.
Whoa.
And when she got arrested, she was being asked, like, why'd you do it? And she says, I hate Mondays. Wow. And Bob Geldof wrote the song.
Yeah, they say opposites attract. Foxy is just like Anima. Don't talk to her before morning coffee.
I'm a perfect match for Gerry. Actually, when I was over there, I made him set the alarm an hour later multiple times.
I will.
Freeze.
And it's really funny. Even though I am funny in private life too. Like I remember one of my ex-girlfriends being asked, is he like this all the time? And she goes, funny? Yeah, but not like outrageous like he is at parties and stuff. When people get together, he really lets loose. But at home, he's funny, but like in spurts. It's usually very quiet. Keeps to himself. I like to sit in my room and paint, draw, sculpt, or make model kits. That was happiness to me. And that's why, like, Mac and I would do that. That's why he was such a perfect housemate for me. We would sit with each other's company and not have to talk for hours. But then we would get in great conversations. Where I get talkative is in a car. And I was asked, like, why do you talk so much in the car? And I said, I was trained to do that because if you're an assistant driver, you have to keep everybody awake. The driver needs to be kept awake. And your job as an assistant driver isn't to fucking fall asleep. It's to help keep them awake.
Navigate and keep them awake.
Pay attention to them. Make sure that they're not getting sleepy. If they get sleepy, it's your turn to take over, you know, or pull over and take a nap. You know, it's just, I was taught to be an assistant driver from childhood. And so being in the military, because there's no such thing as a passenger in the military. If you are in a Humvee and you got 4 seats in that Humvee, driver. First assistant driver is the guy to the right. The guy to the back left behind the driver is assistant driver number 2. The fourth guy is assistant driver number 3. If the driver of that vehicle gets a ticket, everybody in that vehicle gets a ticket. The only time you are not a passenger is when you're cargo.
Yep. That's what I would be because I don't drive.
When we were being towed around in those cattle cars, and yes, they were real cattle cars.
They are.
There's none of that sexy deuce and a half, jump in the bag with a deuce and a half, and you're sitting there in the open air.
Nope.
No, you're in a fucking hot.
You're standing in a hot fucking vehicle.
Well, we got to sit down in them. There were seats, and we sat on those against the wall, the outer walls, and that's where guys were like blown away by me because I took my M16, unloaded M16, and I would put the butt of it between my boots, and I would put my boots together like this, and the rifle butt was in between them. And then I would take the muzzle and put it into my helmet right here, and my chin strap would hold my head up.
Buckled.
And I would lean forward and I would fall asleep. And then my head was up.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
If somebody popped their head in that trailer, they wouldn't have any idea I'm asleep. And it was said multiple times, I was probably one of the most clever people that my sergeants ever met. Because when everybody was in line to go use the latrine, and this is an old World War II latrine, by the way, made of old fucking wood. And you could smell it like a mile away. It was just the smell of, it smelled like death and shit.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Because there's ammonia in there. There's all these different smells you get. And as we're approaching his door, I reach into we're all carrying it. I grab my pro mask before I go in and I put it on and seal it and fucking go in and I took my shit. And everybody started doing it after me. And the sergeant says, "You really are one of the cleverest sons of bitches I've ever met." And I'm like, "Thank you, sir." Then Bertel Taub, who is Swedish like I am, he's been deceased since 2002. He was a good musician. He's in this one too. Oh, do you know what he played in this? Oh, in 2002, 22. He's when he died. I made a typo. That's okay, man. We all do it. What model kits? Okay, there are old photos. I don't know if they exist anymore because I lost an entire suitcase of photos, like a giant suitcase of photos, when my ex-wife threw them away on purpose.
Because
if she couldn't resell it, she threw it out. And a bunch of those photos were my bedroom. And in fact, in that photo, you would see the costume I'm wearing when I played the herald for the Jewish court in that play that I did. Those were my old curtains that were my costume. And they were sci-fi looking, cool striped curtains. And the ceiling was covered with World War II and Vietnam era jets and
aircraft,
fighter planes and bombers. Because it's just, I hung with thumbtacks and fishing line for my ceiling. It's just littered with planes. And I love building World War II and Korea and Vietnam era fighters and bombers. I built a lot of science fiction model kits.
I was fixing to say that's the ones I did.
3 versions. Yeah, 3
Starship.
versions of the Enterprise. I had Millennium Falcon. I had the Vulcan shuttle from the motion picture. Good grief.
Here's a
So
question I
many
got
models. I
for
had
him.
X-Wings. I had the
The Viper?
Y-Wing model kit. I had the Viper and Cylon,
Yeah.
and the Cylon Battlestar.
Here's the question for you. The base, the base stars.
Yeah.
Did how many sets of blueprints did you have, bro?
None. I
I
never
had
got any of
tons
those.
of
I
them,
got
dude.
tech manuals. I got Joe Johnston's Star Wars Illustrated of all of his production art. I love that. There were 2 of those books, and I bought both of those.
Yeah. They were good.
I love Joe Johnston's artwork, and he's a very good director.
Mark C with a D or Mark D with a C last night on his Geek show.
It's Mark D with C. Yeah.
Mark D.
But I
right?
do it differently. I say Mark C to Big D because there's a big D on his hat.
But anyway, last night he was showing some figures at some place that he was going to. You know, he shows a lot of this stuff. And they actually have a figure out there of Luke Skywalker from that production art. It's got the mask on it. You know the one I'm talking about where he's holding the lightsaber at an angle and it looks more like a light dagger than a lightsaber. And he's got that, it looks like a friggin' like a breathing mask on him and stuff. And they actually have a figure of that. I didn't even know they had that. But I remember that piece of art.
He plays Hans Ritter. Okay.
Hans Ritter von Neustadt. What a name.
Yeah, Hans Ritter von Neustadt.
Yeah,
that's a $50 name right there, my friend.
I had a lot of blueprints as a kid.
My
favorite.
I had a lot of Ertl, AMT. God, I love model kits. I really wasn't too much into ships. I built one of the carriers they had in Vietnam that had the back end that opened up that would drop down. It would sit up, and it still is open, but it had a lip, and the lip would drop, and boats could just drive right into the ship. And I had a model of that because I just thought that was cool. And another model kit that I really loved, and I had that for years, was the Calypso by French scuba diver.
Jacques Cousteau.
Jacques Cousteau. I love that model kit. I was a big fan of his work and his family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all gone. I still have toys, but I have one model kit behind me. There it is.
I see the Enterprise back there.
It's the Excelsior. The one that's in front of it is a model kit.
Cool.
And I just don't have. Oh wait, no, there is another one over there. Can you see it? I don't know. It's there. It's so low you can't see it. It's in front of Baby Yoda. It's the Jupiter 2 from Lost.
No, we can't see it.
We can't see it.
Can you or can't? Okay.
Can't. Your chair's blocking it, buddy.
My broken chair. My chair is fucking broken now.
You want to see a really cool model, though? You need to go to the Smithsonian National Air Museum.
Well, that's what I wanted to be.
Oh yeah.
And
that's what I wanted to do.
From the original
I wanted to build miniatures
from
the Smithsonian Institution. That was my dream job as a little kid. I wanted to build the dioramas for some of the battles and shit.
Right. You walk into the Air and Space Museum, and right there to the right is the model they used actually shooting all the transition shots for Star Trek, the original series. It is huge. That thing is huge.
At one point, it was hanging in the doorway when you would go into that little bit of a museum. And it was downstairs or upstairs of the theater. Because that was the first IMAX theater in the United States. Was there
when I went a decade ago, it was encased in glass to the right when you walked in.
That's what they had to do, because sitting out in the air like it was doing damage to it.
Yeah.
So they ended up finally they restored it and they put it in a glass case, and then I think 20 years later, 30 years later, they had to restore it again.
It's gorgeous. I sat there and looked at it for 10 minutes straight, dude. I was like,
Adam Savage has a short about the restoration.
Hey guys, Foxy's on lunch. I gotta go. You guys be good. It was good to see you. Take care.
All right,
yourselves.
buddy. See you later.
Let me know what you're doing next week so I can start pushing it on my shows, bro.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Yep. Hasta.
Joe.
And we're gonna get out of here too. I've already said bye to everybody, so we're gonna get going. Let's end.
Yeah, you did that like 20 minutes ago.
Don't talk about minutes. So we're out of here.
Bye.
Anyway, everybody have a great Monday. See you guys on tomorrow. You'll see the chief, and then see us again on Wednesday. So everybody have a great week. All right, bye guys.